Welcome to the Hudson Valley Community College Eyes on the Sky series, an update about current astronomy, space science, and sky events. I'm astronomer Richard Monda, and this is the February episode of Eyes on the Sky for January 29th through March 3rd, 2019. During the last week of January, the waning crescent moon is in the dawn sky of the southeast. On January 29th, the moon is above the three stars that make the head of Scorpius. Then on the 30th, the 25-day-old lunar crescent makes a triangle with Jupiter and the red supergiant star of the Scorpion, Antares. On the last day of January, a 16% illuminated moon appears close to Venus. February starts with a very thin lunar arc above the stellar teapot of Sagittarius. And the next morning, the moon is positioned very low in the southeastern sky, close to the horizon. Also positioned in this part of the sky, at billions of miles into the depths of the solar system, is Pluto. NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew over Pluto in 2015 and found nitrogen glaciers, a tenuous atmosphere, and evidence for low-temperature volcanoes, not spewing lava, but very slow-moving ice in a process called Cryo-Vocanism. On January 1st, 2019, New Horizons passed by an even more remote object called Ultima Thule. The concept images of this object turned out to be correct. Ultima's reddish-brown color might be due to tholins, a term first used by astronomer Carl Sagan to mean unidentified organics. The next lunar cycle starts with the new moon on February 4th, and by the 6th, the waxing lunar crescent is back in the early evening sky. Then on February 9th, the moon is in a darker sky against the faint stars of Pisces. The waxing crescent is 30% lighted on the 10th when it appears near Mars, and is a day before first quarter on the 11th. By February 12th, the moon has reached Taurus. On the 13th, a waxing gibbous moon is among the stars of the Bull's Face, the Hyades star cluster. Then the moon is close to the Bull's lower horn on Valentine's Day. Below Taurus is the well-known constellation of winter, Orion the Hunter. Betelgeuse, another red supergiant star, marks Orion's right shoulder. Three stars in a row make the Hunter's belt, and below the belt stars is a region that has a fuzzy glow. This is the Great Orion Nebula, a vast region of space where new stars are forming. Within this nebula, the Hubble telescope has found proplyds, cocoons of gas and dust, where new stars and possibly planets are forming. By February 15th, the moon, still waxing gibbous, has made its way to the westernmost stars of Gemini. On the 16th, the moon is slightly below the midsection of the Twins, and on the 17th, the lunar orb has entered Cancer the Crab. Last month, when the moon was in this part of the sky, it was full and traveled through Earth's shadow, making for a total eclipse of the moon. The next total lunar eclipse to be seen in its entirety from the North American East Coast will be on May 15th through 16th, 2022. On the evening of February 18th, the moon is almost full when it is against the westernmost stars of Leo and reaches full at 10:53 a.m. on the morning of the 19th. By that evening, the moon is moved below the central portion of the Lion. Over the next week, the waning gibbous moon moves through the constellations of the spring zodiac. By the time it reaches third quarter on February 26th, it's back in the pre-dawn sky against the stars of the summer zodiac and just east of the leading stars of Scorpius. The next morning, the waning crescent is near Jupiter, and on the last day of February, the moon is over the western stars of Sagittarius. The thinning crescent appears near Saturn on March 1st and near Venus the next morning. Finally, on March 3rd, the moon nears the end of its current lunar cycle, low in the east-southeast. I'm Hudson Valley Community College astronomer Richard Monda, reminding you, keep your eyes on the sky.